Finesse Mitchell, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Noah, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for making the time, like I was saying. It's cool to have you here at Casadas. Before we get into the conversation, for everyone listening, his shows are tonight. This is coming out about an hour and a half or so before the first show on Friday. 2 more shows on Saturday. You can go to Casadas, go to his Instagram page. It'll be tagged and get you tickets there. Go check him out. You're a very funny guy.
Thank you. Albuquerque, don't act like y'all got a lot to do this weekend. Don't play me. Don't play with me. I have traveled this vast land of beautiful dirt. I have been to, you know what? Let me just say, come see me tonight. Come see me Saturday. I'm doing this for you. It's not like you're doing it for me. This should be the clip.
So how many people, though, because you came here earlier with Matt Rife over to Sletta, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Between then and the time that you spent recently for this trip, how many times have people told you to eat the red or the green chili?
Only once.
No one's beating you over the head with it yet. That is every time I do a podcast with an outside community, like, what is this fucking chili?
What is
you
the
people
chili?
keep talking about? So that's genuinely surprising. But
there, they definitely brought it up.
Yeah,
he was heckled about that. You know, so he had to actually stop his show and he said the same thing. What the fuck? What is this? You know, and so, but I got in late last night. And I walked the casino. I did not see a poker room. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And so I went to my room, and it was late. And so, you know, but no one asked me about red or green chili yet.
That's so funny. Well,
I'm expecting that from the people who show up tonight.
Yeah, you'll get asked about it. There will be every single late show that I've done here, which I love doing. By the way, feel free to book me again. I love doing it.
What do you love about Quezadas?
I mean, genuinely, so it's built for comedy. Like
the room looks beautiful.
The room is great, and because again, like I told you before we started recording, I've only been doing stand up for 3 years, so I'm still learning. Like very much so. I'm still like a
you will not know yourself on stage until you're 5 years in.
Yeah, I'm still like from finding my voice to just learning how to be funny in general. I'm still learning all of that, but. What I've picked up very quickly is what like little changes that a room can have and some staples that a room can have that sets it up for comedy very well. And even with the high ceilings here, it's still a great room for stand-up. And it's still built because I've been here as a performer and as an audience member, and you still feel like it's an intimate show, even if, you know, it's with the high ceiling. So I love that. The crowds here, I mean, having a crowd here that you know they're here to see stand-up. You know that they're here to laugh. They're not being trapped by comedy at some bar at 1 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night. That's great. I mean, it's a real blessing to have it here, and then to be able to watch and learn from comedians that come through like you. Like, it's a real blessing.
Well, I'm a phenomenon. I am that dude. You know, like I was telling you earlier, I just found out my mom passed. Well, I didn't just find out. My mom passed. And I've been dealing with it for like the last 10 days. And so I'm actually excited to be on stage. Anybody that might be dealing with grief or shock or just you can't get over or believe that someone like a mom or a best friend or a sibling has passed, you know, for us, you know, because I was in Canada and I shared it with Matt at the time, and he was like, holy fuck, you know. And I went out on stage in front of 10,000 people, and about 8 minutes in, having a great time, I was ready to go. 8 minutes in, I was sitting there like, I'm not sitting there, but I was standing there like, ha ha, yeah. And I looked down at the clock and it said, 15 more minutes. And I was just like, and that's an eternity when you're like, and then like 3 minutes went by of me saying, give it up for the ladies, because I didn't know what to say. Right. And then everything came flooding back and I just jumped back into just having a good time again. But I say all that to say that in stand-up comedy, sometimes for us, I don't know about you, Noah, but you're going through something and you're like, I wish I could get on stage. And it's not to rant and vent. I just want to laugh and make other people laugh.
Improvised Intelligence is sponsored by the amazing people over at Chopped Chili. If you've been a long time listener to the podcast, you know that this is my favorite brand of chili here in New Mexico. Pretty much put it on every meal that I can. They've got red chili, green chili. My personal favorite is this blend of the red and the green. I think this stuff is phenomenal. They also have frozen bags of green chili that you can order directly from their website at choppedchilico.com. You can also find them in stores around the state of New Mexico at Sprouts, Albertsons, Farmers Country Market, John Brooks, Keller's Farm Store, Lowe's Market. And you can also find them in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Hobbs, Gallup, Tucumcari. And for all my friends in Texas, they are in El Paso. Again, choppedchilico.com. Go get yourself some amazing chili. Now back to the podcast.
Yeah, there's a great when it's going right. There's a great symbiotic relationship between the performer and the audience. They can't. 'Cause, I mean, I've never been a musician. I've never done anything like acting or anything like that on stage outside of stand-up. But there, just from what I've seen and from hearing other comedians talk about, there is a unique, again, symbiotic relationship that can happen between the performer and the audience when it's going well. You can't really replicate anywhere else. And when it's just you and a microphone.
Yeah.
And
it's sexy.
Yeah, it was also very
it's
very vulnerable. And so you have to be you. And so I feel like that's a bit of like a cathartic experience that can help you move through moments of grief like that. Have you brought this subject at all to the stage? Like, how do you...
Tonight it might happen tonight.
Okay.
She just passed. And so, the funeral is Monday. I said, I'm going to go to Quezada's and do the 2 shows Friday, the 2 shows Saturday. I'm going to get on a plane on Sunday. And I'm going to be knee deep around people looking at me and toward me, either for answers or to just want to be there for me, which is weird because a lot of times as a comic, you're there for everyone else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, with what you just said, bro, I mean, comedy, then musician, then probably a singer. And I say that because when it's just you and the microphone, I found just been doing this for over, 27 years, I think. It's sexy to me. Sexy is one of my words. I like a vibe to feel good and sexy. I like to feel sexy, but not in a sexual way.
I get what you mean.
It's like almost a slang for me now at this point. How was it? Was it sexy? Did you get up there and make them? You know what I mean? It's not like, did you get up there and your pecs was... No, it's not that. It's, it's just this vibe that you feel where you're like... And I've seen musicians have it. A pianist, a jazz player, a blues player. It's like you're hypnotizing somebody with that instrument. And I like that more so than an actual singer. Because you got to concentrate and sound, and you got to say it's a lot of work to sing. It's a lot of work to play, but the way you can look at somebody and you just
and the way they manipulate their specific instrument is there's something again
because there's no set script.
Yeah,
you know how the song is supposed to go, but what if you do want to do something different?
Right.
Versus you change the lyric of somebody's favorite song, and they're gonna be like, "What the hell? It's Purple Rain."
That's so funny.
What is he singing?
That's so
what funny. Does snow have to do about Purple Rain?
So And what I'm curious about too is, so you're saying that tonight may be the first time you're going to talk about this subject. Do you? I mean, you've been doing this for for years and years and years. Do you even write about the subject, or do you just know what you want to talk about and you let it happen?
No, I let stuff happen. I was a great writer early in my career. My manager told me the best way to get to the jokes and get to the funny is to write everything down and then listen to the audio. Yeah. Stop watching a video. Forget that video. Because you're watching you.
Interesting.
You're not really paying attention to what you just said because you are watching you. And sometimes watching you is cringeworthy, especially when you don't hear what you want to hear or hear what you thought you heard when you was telling that joke in the moment.
Yeah.
So now you're turning you off.
Interesting.
Instead of listening to the sound and doing the work. When there's a lot of sound, but it's emptiness, we hear you.
Right.
We don't hear them.
Right.
So you say at this stamp time code to this stamp time code, I don't think I needed any of that. So let me take all of that section out of the joke because here's what I said I was about to talk about, and here's the part that made them laugh. Did all that set up?
Cut the fat out.
Yeah, move that. Say it again, and then say that part. Boom, you got your laugh. Now get to the next part. And if you do that all throughout your set, you'll realize, oh man, my 15 minutes might be 7 minutes now, but it's a fire 7 minutes.
Right, but it's a tight 7 minutes.
7 minutes. And that's, to me, is doing the work of stand-up.
So is there something to watching a video of yourself so you see how you're delivering, how your mannerisms are, like, I mean, the look on your face?
I think you should be funny first.
Okay.
Why don't you just get funny first?
Yeah.
You're looking at what you look like and what they see. Are you about to tell a physical joke where you need the stool and the mic stand or the whatever? Some people who do physical comedy, if you're being up there being silly and goofy and physical, that's fine. You can make a gazillion dollars doing that, right? You're entertaining yourself doing that. And you say, I think I want to move this to here and then go to this part of the stage and da-da-da. But a lot of people should focus on material first. If you're 3 years in, focus on material first. Because right now, whether you know it or not, you are still at some point imitating other comics.
Yeah.
You may not be saying their material, but you're definitely imitating other comics. And you smash it all up to where it feels and looks like Noah.
Right.
And now you're watching it and you're like, ha, 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 ha. Oh, ha, 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 ha. But you didn't really hear because there was nothing to watch. When you do the work in this, I'm listening. Because comedy is about listening more so than talking. When you're listening to yourself, or even when you're doing crowd work and you're listening to a real answer instead of getting ready for your canned response that don't even match what they just said. Right. You just know if you say this, it usually gets a laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that part is important for people in their first 5 years. And now it's accelerated because of all the technology and all the ways you can be funny with your phone and skits and content and podcast and just you riffing on podcasts. Podcasts don't have to be about guests all the time. Right. You know what I mean? So there are so many ways to get funny quickly, but to me the fastest way is just to listen to the audio.
And when you were starting out, was any of this explained to you?
Absolutely. Okay. Shout out to Dave Raff. Dave Raff with 3 Arts at the time. He has his own company now. Yeah, he's the one that told me that. He's a comedy manager. I don't think sometimes people say, "Oh, if you never done it, how can you do?" No, there's some people who watch comedy, study comedy, been around the greats. There's some great comedy managers out there, and they know the business. And when he took me under his wing, he only had to tell me that stuff one time. He only had to sit down with me one time and say, "This is what I want you to do."
Where did you guys meet for the first time?
He was at the Hollywood Improv. I went out to L.A., bright-eyed, bushy-tail. I wrote some stuff that I thought was dope. I had a VHS tape from BET's Comic View. That was my reel. Oh, my little 10 10-minute set on BET's Comic View, but I had an idea that I was trying to get made, so I wrote it down. And so I was like, yeah, man, I'm out here. I need a comedy. I need a lawyer because I need somebody to help me get this deal done. And my friend literally put a list together of 10 entertainment attorneys. And then she said, yeah, call these guys, you know. And so I started with number 1, and I forgot what was said. Then I went to number 2, and they said, yeah, send the stuff in. And I said, oh, okay. All right, cool. So I had a script called Campus Cops. Shout out to D. Ray Davis. I had a script called Campus Cops, and I had a VHS tape from Comic View, and I think I had a show idea for something else, and I sent it in. And like 3 days later, they wanted to have a meeting with me. And so I went to this nice office, and they were like, yeah, we represent Bernie Mac and Chris Rock and da-da-da-da. They was entertainment lawyers. And I was just like, okay, this sounds right. This is where I'm supposed to be, fresh off the plane. You know what I mean? This is where I'm supposed to be. And the guy was like, do you have a comedy manager? I said, no. He said, I watched your tape. He said, you need a comedy manager. And I was like, okay. And before I knew it, we was on a quest for a comedy manager. So I had an entertainment attorney helping me get a comedy manager. Wow. And we kind of forgot all about the script and all that stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, I need a comedy manager. And so we called 3 Arts, and then we called another company. And the guy from the other 3 Arts didn't respond. It's a cold call, basically. They didn't respond. But I had a set at the Improv. And I called the other guy, the next people that they wanted me to, big time manager. I forgot the company's name. But I didn't give up on Dave Raff because they said Dave Raff is one of a great manager. And so out of the blue, I said I called Dave Raff. I think they gave me his cell number. And I just called him. I was just like, hey man, I'm about to go on at the Improv. So I don't know why I'm calling you. I just thought I'd call you. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
He was like, ignorance is bliss, bro. I always tell people, especially back in the day when you really had to go out to L.A. and New York and hump the ground literally to like get to the next. It's just like breadcrumb. Where is the next breadcrumb? Yeah. Because you can get real full off of breadcrumbs, but they got to be placed out there, right? And I called him, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm actually next door." I'm like, "Oh yeah. I'm at the Improv, but where are you in the main room?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm at the main room. I'm about to go up." And he came up. He came over and he saw me.
That's awesome.
And he was like, "Yeah, let's come to my office. Let's have a meeting."
This?
Bro, this was 1999 or 2000.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Probably like 99 or 2000, long time ago, 26 years ago.
So was that the first? Because you're originally from Atlanta, right?
Yes.
So was LA where you went to first after Atlanta?
Yes. I started my comedy in Miami. I started at the Miami Improv.
Okay.
And then after being what I thought was funny there for like 2 or 3 years, I moved back home to Atlanta. Then I got on the comedy scene in Atlanta, Uptown Comedy Corner, Punchline Comedy Club, the Funny Farm. There are different comedy clubs or spots you could go, and so that's where I went. And I just did the rounds there for a little while, and then BET's Comic View came to town to tape, and then they were looking for alternates in case somebody dropped out. Somebody happened to drop out. And they saw my tape, and then they were like, "Hey, tell your family you own tonight."
Nice.
And I was like, called everybody in my family. "Hey, I'm on BET Comic View tonight. I'm taping. Get down to the Center Stage Theater," and nobody came. But anyway,
fuck.
Yeah, good luck. We've seen you. Yeah, that ain't gonna go well, bro. We told you to stay in school. It was an amazing set. And the way I structured it, because I was a fan of Comic View, I knew they take out little sections and put them in a collaborations of topics.
Okay.
So I made it very topical of what I knew that they had already done.
You
And so-
knew what the answer was to the final exam. So it was
Yes.
like, okay, I need to curate to what I know they're
Yeah.
going to produce anyway.
Relationships, black mamas, stealing, sex. Why don't we have a black president? You know what I mean? So it was just, I had a joke for all those things, and it was a tight set, man. And so got a dope applause. A couple of people stood up at the end. I just felt great because that was my first TV appearance, and I was probably really doing comedy 3 to 4 years.
That's incredible.
Before I got that opportunity.
And so what made you want to go to LA over New York?
I never. I'm glad you asked. First of all, they said the bitches in LA was no.
I'm sure there's a few people that was their answer.
First of all,
Where am I more likely to get laid, New York or LA?
New York, LA, concrete, ocean, sunshine, snow. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to LA. No, actually, I had a friend that was working at the Laugh Factory, and they were like, yo, you need to come out here to LA. And they were like, yo, they giving out deals. And I'm like, what's a deal? And they're like, yo, if they like you, they'll write you a big check just to hold you. You know, it's like a record deal. So if you ain't got no record. And I'm just like, I think I want one of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
So
as a starting out comic, I mean, there's no money to be found, and you can find the hope of money.
When they say like the Wild Wild West, I mean, it had already been pretty structured. Once I got out there and I went to the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store, and you see like Arsenio Hall and Roseanne Barr and Pauly Shore and Dave Letterman and Jay Leno and Eddie and Richard, when you see these pictures on the wall in black and white, and you're like, oh, they all performed here. You know what I mean? Now you're like, okay, well then how do I perform here? How do I find the manager? How do I find the agent? You know, it's just like now, man, like it hasn't changed. When people say, hey, I want to get in the show business, how do I get an agent? Not like that.
Right.
That ain't how you get it.
You're looking at the wrong target.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like put some work on tape that somebody can look at. I don't even think my comedy career would have begun if I didn't have the BET Comic View tape.
Well, that's a hell of a tape to have in the first place.
This is like back then it was Def Jam or Comic View.
Right.
You know, and if it was just you and they just looking at comedy, and we talking about white people at the time or Jewish people at the time, they need to see something.
Yeah.
You know, if it's somebody that's black that's in the business, they're entrenched already in the business. You know what I mean? They know who's who. And they know who's green. Right. Do I want to take on somebody really, really green? Because what can I do with them?
Right.
You know, versus, you know, at the time, white people were like, hey, we're just looking for funny people.
Well, I was going to ask, too, like how, especially at the time, how do you, because the way that I've kind of seen just the little bit of time in show business that I've been in, it's, aside from figuring out how to be funny, you're figuring out how to provide value. What sets you apart from everybody else aside from being funny? Like, what else do you bring to the table? At the time, how is it? You already mentioned the tape. How do you provide value at the time and set yourself apart from everyone else to have them take a risk on you? Because they're making an investment in somebody that's brand new, Herbal Green. You know, so how do you set yourself apart like that at the time?
Back then, they're only making an investment with their time.
Okay.
And back then, funny was the only requirement.
Okay.
And I didn't mean to make it like black, white, Jewish.
Right.
It was just like, yo, we're in the business of funny.
Right.
Who's funny? We know who's old. We know who's like sizzling right now, and who's new. That's why Just for Laughs, all these comedy festivals always have new faces. Who's new? Because if you get into one of these festivals and the right person sees you, sometimes it can do something for your career. But now it's so different because you can be funny and you can be new and only have 3 years under your belt. But how many followers do you have? And once they take that into the equation, the game has totally changed. It's no longer about who's funny. It's about who has something that you can make money off of. And people can make money off of people with a large following. Yeah. And that's why they will sit there and lie to you in your face like, you the funniest thing ever. Your content. But they don't understand you. They don't understand your fan base. They just know it's a lot of people.
They haven't even seen you live.
They don't even care, bro.
Yeah. They just want asses and seats.
Even when they casting, you know what I mean? So it's just like, we need this person. And I was talking to somebody about a movie, and it was just like, we got everybody. Oh, we need 2 more people. Oh, you need to look at this person, and this person. Great talent. And they'll be like, what ethnicity? Oh, is it a man or a woman? Straight or gay?
Right.
And you're like, wait, you want somebody, a talented actor, right? Yeah, but see, we already have, and then they're looking at the board and they got all the headshots. Yep. And now they're trying to appeal to a big, wide range of people. So they're like, but what if we put a white teen female here? Okay. But his name is Jerry. Change the script. I mean,
Well, I mean, that became a huge I think it was a year and a half ago or so when it came out that to be qualified for a Best Picture in the Oscars, you need to have all these demographics checked in your cast, and you need these type of people behind the scenes. And inclusivity is a good thing, but I mean, when you're sacrificing the core of like the script or the type of movie you're trying to make, and it's like, why? And then at the same time too, it's like, well, you're trying to avoid racism, but aren't you kind of being racist by doing
you're discriminating against people? And Earthquake used to have one of my favorite jokes. I went out for Planet of the Apes.
Oh my God!
I was rehearsing. I was like, like I really put some heart into it. And when I went in there and I left, and they told me I didn't get it, I was like, a nigga can't be an ape. How did I not get that one?
That's so funny. Oh my God!
I've never seen white apes.
How do you, comparing to how it was when you were first catching your first breaks and then now, how do you find yourself navigating the landscape? And you've already mentioned, that's most obvious one to everybody, where it's, people look at followers first and engagement first, and it's, there's movies getting cast right now where it's based strictly on how many followers do these people have, because they're going to have to share the movie poster and the trailers anyway, and that's money we don't have to dump into marketing. We've already paid these people, so they're going to whatever. So obviously there's the followers thing, but just how I
do like what Kevin Hart was doing, and there are certain people that have followers. You have 200,000 followers. You have 500,000 followers. You almost have 1 million followers. And then there are people like Kevin Hart and The Rock and the soccer player Ronaldo, people who have over 300 million followers.
Yeah, just ridiculous, uncomprehendable numbers.
Like 200 million followers. Well, you should have to pay them extra if you want them to put that on their platform.
Right.
Because even if they get 30% of those followers, which the algorithm blocks, by the way. Now it's to the point where if I'm watching a Kevin Hart post and it's him and his wife and it has 1,000 comments, how do you have 200 plus million people? Right. But only so clearly you have not shown that picture.
Right. Well, and that's what I tell people when they get because I do my best to not focus too much on it's an important part of the job, and I get it, but I just try not to get to my head where it's like, I need to have more followers, I need to have more blah, 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 blah. But I tell go to the biggest pages. Kevin Hart, The Rock, Kim Kardashian, all these people that have the hundreds of millions of whatever. If they get 1 million likes, that's less than 1% of their following.
Right.
Try not to stress out if you've only got 5,000 and 90 people like your picture.
Right.
If the biggest guys aren't getting 10%, and you're not getting 8%, I think you're going to be okay.
Right. And I think that's a huge thing with me personally. I'm almost like a dinosaur. I'm very funny, and I have people that I'm huge fans of that are very funny. They won't touch social media with a 10-foot pole.
Interesting.
And it's almost, I can't say they've given up on that part of the business because that's where the business is. But for me, I like doing content when I want to do it. And now I have to be in the right headspace, and it has to be right at home for me. Like, I haven't figured that part out for me personally. The balance between my wife and my children and my downtime and my time playing poker and my time traveling.
Hey, we all have our stuff, man.
We all have our stuff, bro. And but, you know, and sometimes when you're really motivated and you put a lot of energy into something and something doesn't go the way you want it, it can really set you back a year. It can set you back 2 years. Sometimes you can lose a loved one and it sets you back a year. It sets you back 2 years. Sometimes you could be too busy looking at other people succeed, and that sets you back because you'd rather complain about other people succeeding.
It's really easy to do.
Real easy to do in this business.
Very easy to do.
And so mentally, you just have to be in the right headspace. Not all the time, but you really have to set some time aside for yourself and then time aside to work, because the people booking you and the people knocking on your door and the people saying, here's an audition, it's not happening like it used to, you know, and the business has changed. So you might as well create the content for yourself. You got this dope setup and you have the drive, you're motivated. And so you keep your head down and you keep going. And you don't let nobody knock you off that square. You keep going. And in the meantime, you keep getting funny. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you, and I agree. And
I was talking about me, by the way. You just happen to have all this stuff, but I was.
When you're going on the road now with Matt Rife, and because I believe you're with Chappelle Lacey as well, right?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you're on the road with these guys, and then my buddy, shout out to Cam Bertrand, very nice guy.
What up, Cam?
Yeah, very fun guy.
Yeah.
Good buddy of mine. He, he's on the road as well with him. But when you're on the road with these guys that have been doing it a less amount of time than you, what are you picking up from them? And is there that relationship as well where you can learn from each other like that?
Well, first of all, I'm blackmailing Matt Rife. That is why. You know, when I was right after my SNL days, or a little bit time after my SNL days, I did the Disney Channel. I was on a show called Ant Farm. I've done a couple of movies. I mean, touring was great. It was fun for me, and I was in a great spot mentally and emotionally. We just didn't have social media. Now, had we had it like that, you know what I mean? It was there. It just wasn't like there.
Right.
It wasn't the business. But Matt used to be one of the guys who would feature for me. You know what I mean? So I really like the fact that when you're around somebody like me, because there are a lot of people to learn game from, that I'm not the biggest ego chasing dude. I'm not the biggest, I got to be the funniest dude in the room, dude. I got to be the loud. I'm not that guy. And I'm always giving back, and I'm always looking out, and I'm always, oh, sure, come with me. You know what I mean? I'm just, if it fits and it makes sense, and I think you're a good person, then I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. So luckily, millions and millions and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tickets sold and millions of tickets sold for Matt. Later, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, Finesse, you want to do some dates? I looked down one day at my phone. He's like, you want to open up for me? I'm like, where? I'm booked. What you got? Madison Square Garden. I was just like, yeah, I'm open. I'm wide open. I don't have anything. I'm not booked. Thank you. God bless you. You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
And but it kind of really started there for me, where I was like, wow. Because even then I was in a low place. I don't like going out by myself. A lot of people do. But I like the ensemble stuff, because I like being around a Chappelle Lacey or whoever's the new people or whoever's the old people, but it's tough having a credit like Saturday Night Live, because a lot of people don't associate that with great stand-up comedy. So you got to show them the great stand-up comedy part.
What do you think they associate it with?
Just a show.
Okay.
It's if it was 15 years ago, you'd be like, oh, Saturday Night Live. People only like Saturday Night Live the years they watched it.
That's a great point.
And the years they watched it, it was the best cast ever.
Right.
The years I watched it, Eddie Murphy was like the star of the show.
Yeah.
That was and I was young. But when I got older and it became like I'm in college and, and then after college I'm doing this and then I'm out on Saturday nights, I didn't watch it. So when I did see like something that Will Ferrell did, I was just like, he's funny as shit. Will Ferrell's funny. When I saw something that Adam Sandler did, I was like, oh, that's funny. But when they said like the cast, I'm like, I don't.
Right. Yeah.
My first week of Saturday Night Live, I was like, I got to meet Colin Farrell. They was like, Will Ferrell. Okay, him too. He on the show. No, he's gone. I'm like, okay. I'm just like, because I just booked the job. Tracy Morgan was leaving, and me and Kenan Thompson booked the job. You know what I mean? So it was a job. Just like Cam Patterson is on Saturday Night Live right now. But I know for a fact that was not on his radar. I know for a fact he wasn't like, I can't wait to be on Saturday Night Live. I talked to him. I know him at the time. Super dope dude, bro.
Very nice guy.
Very nice guy,
Very
bro.
nice guy.
And it went from, hey, OG, you in Austin? I'm going to show you around. Okay. Because 2 weeks earlier, I was in Orlando where he was from, and I met him. They were like, you need to meet Cam. Who's Cam? Right. And when I met him and all the comedians that were with him, I was like, oh, that's dope. Now watch what a real magician does on stage.
Right.
And I did my thing. And when I got off stage, they was just like, you still that dude. I don't have that. I'm missing that. I'm trying to get it. I got to get that mojo to talk about myself more. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, and it's weird to be a shy comedian or like a.
I think most are.
Yeah, but
I think most.
Some of the new ones. Some of the ones.
There's some that are bombastic. Don't get me wrong. There are some that are bombastic.
I'm top 5.
Right.
If there was a Kings of Comedy now, they would have to rename it because they forgot me.
Right, but there's also that stereotype where it's like, the comics that go, well, before you bring me up on stage, I need credits. And then there's the comics that are like, hey, just tell them I'm your friend, that I'm funny.
Yeah.
Just bring me up. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are the guys that are.
People always, no matter what, if people don't know this, but whatever comedy club you go to, the comedians hanging out on the side, they're like, what do you want me to say?
Right.
Like the host is like, hey, you're next. What do you want me to say? And if you're like, oh, tell them my new special just dropped on YouTube and I was on Little House on the Prairie, the reboot. But 10 years before that, they'd be like, hey, man, pick one. What you want me to say? You know what I mean? Because I'm about to do 5 more minutes before you even come up. So just tell me something I can remember, And it was a couple of years out there where people were like, tell me what you want me to say. Just say I'm dope and I'm your good friend. And people would just say that. But now the business is more about selling yourself. But I do hear a lot of comedians saying how great they are. How funny they are, and that's so weird to me.
I think it's fake. I think that's
weird to me.
The idea of fake it till you make it taken to a extreme degree. But I think a lot of that stuff too. It'll rise to the top, and people will see it for what it is.
I think it is the success that you have attained, that you did, that the comedian from follower 1 to 1 million followers. You worked hard. You busted your ass. You're proud of yourself. And it may sound weird coming from me, but it's just like we see it.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, man, you worked hard. You killed it. You're funny. But it's weird to hear you say it.
Right. The self-aggrandizing is strange.
I never grew up like that. I just never grew up like that. And sometimes people need the validation more and more every day of their own success, even though it's a very tangible thing that you can see.
Right.
You are, if not a millionaire, close to being a millionaire. If you don't have, a gazillion, you got all of that, and you keep working hard. But in the same vein, when I'm top 3, okay.
Well, I think it's also a very human problem too, because we have a very bad habit of, this goes both ways, positive and negative, of getting used to your surroundings once you're in them for a little bit. Once you're used to seeing 6 figures, 7 figures, not that I ever have, but if you ever see 6 figures, 7 figures in your bank account and it stays there for a while, you now accept it as like, oh, that's just how life is.
Right. Yep.
That's just how life is, and now it's normal. Now, I I heard a really good quote where it was, don't attribute malice to what can be easily attributed to ignorance. And I think they just go, well, yeah, this is how life is, right? You just have hundreds of thousands of dollars ready to burn, right? And I have these credit. So I think it's a human thing.
We were supposed to go. I know there are a lot of comedians that travel around on jets because they got to be somewhere.
Yeah,
they got to be somewhere, and they making that bread. And I can name a lot of them who are traveling like that. And I do not travel that way. I do not mind as long as it is a window seat. I don't care. I won't be on Frontier. I won't be on some suspect airlines. But if it's Delta or American or United, and if it's Vegas, I'll do Southwest all day because I live in LA. But when you're around that, and when I was making that comment, I wasn't trying to talk shit about some comedians' personalities. Even though your personality may be shitty and nobody's going to tell you, but I'm not speaking on somebody's personality. The way you are is the way you are. That's fine. But I do know what you were just saying. Being in the environment and being around that, traveling with Cam Bertram, traveling with Chappelle Lacey, because we're traveling with Matt Rife, and we're on our way to the Clearport, whatever they call it, or whatever they call it. But we're on our way to the jet, right? Matter of fact, we left Albuquerque. When we were at Sandia Casino doing that big show. We had to go straight to Edmonton, Canada.
Okay.
We went straight to the private jet airport, and Matt said, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." And I heard Matt's security say, "I cannot believe this." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "The jet's too small." And you know what I said? What? The jet's jet heads are about to roll. The jet's too small. And bro, I had to hear myself because I said that. I was just like, don't they know we got somewhere to be?
Hey, it's smaller. You'll get there faster.
So they were like, you know what? All the luggage, we're going to go fly that commercial up to Edmonton. And we're going to put all the people on the plane so we won't have a weight issue. But, heads are going to roll. And, man, I'm sitting there in my jet seat, and I'm drinking, spritzer water or whatever.
You're eating the cheese with the toothpicks.
Bro. And I'm sitting there, and I'm staring at Matt, and we're all looking at each other like, somebody's going to answer for this.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
2 days later, I was on the middle seat in Spirit.
And you had one of the last flights.
I was just like fighting for armrest on a commercial airline.
See, and I'm the kind of guy that likes the aisle seat because every so often I get to kick my left leg out or my right leg out and and get blood flow back into my knees.
Yeah,
we'll talk about my upper leg later, but my knees can get some blood flow finally.
I can't stay awake on a plane, and when I realize I can't stay awake on a plane, the plane is where I get my best sleep.
Really?
Yeah, which is weird because my wife tells me I snore. So I'm like, if I snore at the house, I wonder how many flights I've been on where nobody just said nothing. Because I'm like, you know what's so funny? No, I said, I do not snore. You know how much I sleep on a plane? No one has ever told me I snore. So if I snored, clearly I would know. She was like, you think somebody's going to wake you up to tell you to shut up?
They're paying their kid behind you to kick your seat to wake him up.
But because I can't stay awake on a plane, sometimes I would have my leg out. And when that cart comes down and chop your leg off, it only took 3 times to be amputated. This is my 4th leg, by the way. This leg isn't even real. This is my 4th fake leg. But I was just like, okay, I need to be safely on the inside.
That's so funny. So, and I was curious about your about your SNL days. What was auditioning for SNL and getting like? What was that process like of getting? Because you're in from 03 to 06, right?
Yeah, it was just looking for. I was just looking for a job. I was in LA, and I was just looking for anything. I had done a lot of late night talk shows and stand up comedy shows. I would be the comedian that would come out at the end of a talk show. So we've all done those. Jimmy, what are the back then it was Craig Kilborn and
Right.
whoever else. I forgot the people's names. And the goal was to get on Leno. You know, back then the goal was to get on David Letterman. The goal was to get on anybody's show where you could showcase your comedy. But we had heard that Tracy Morgan was leaving Saturday Night Live, and they were looking for the new black guy. That was just sweeping through the comedy community. Because SNL is we need a black girl. We are just looking for funny people at this time. We just looking for people who are young or, you know, somebody over 30. We just need more people on our radar. Because you never know when they're going to make changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but at this time, they were looking to replace Dean Edwards and Tracy Morgan. And so, you know, I just happened to hear the information. I told my manager, Dave Raff, and he was like, "You don't do sketch?" And I was like, "Nigga, I need a job.
I can do whatever they need me to
do." He was like, "Okay, don't call me that, and I will, I will send in your tape." So he sent in he probably sent in that damn Comic View tape. I don't know, but he sent in my tape. Oh, I had this bit, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and the bit was black people at the Magic Johnson Theater down on Crenshaw Boulevard in L.A. finding out the movie had subtitles as they're watching the movie. Look at your face turning pink.
That's so funny. That's a great idea.
This girl was having a birthday party inside the theater. So my whole take was watching everybody. I'm like, I didn't know you could have a party inside the theater. I mean, she had cake and everything. She was going on. But it was anyway. It was how I invented the Starkeisha character. My name is Starkeisha. And so, but when they saw that bit used to stand people up in L.A. It was such a well-crafted 7-minute joke. The whole joke, just from beginning to end, funny. But it was me doing the whole sassy black girl with the attitude thing. Appreciante Farajaka was her best friends, you know, trying to tell a black person to keep it down in the movie theater. And Derek Fisher trying to tell me to keep it down in the movie theater, you know. I mean, one of my favorite lines in that bit was, you could tell people had never been in a movie with some subtitles because someone was reading out loud. The green destiny sword was... So, oh man, this bit used to just kill him, bro.
Jesus Christ.
And but when the gang at SNL saw that, they invited me to audition, and I did it for my audition, along with 2 or 3 other characters that I created in the moment, probably. But they gave you like 7 to 10 minutes to just use your time.
And are you auditioning? Is there any audience at all? Is it just like Lorne Michaels and like
well,
a
at the time, when you get past the tape stage and they invite you to audition, then it's in front of a comedy club. It's at a comedy club.
Oh, cool.
Usually.
Okay.
You know, but then if you make it past that, and this is how it was back in the day, if you make it past that, then they say, okay, we want to see you inside the studio. And when you're in studio at 8H, it ain't nobody laughing. It's just people back in the shadows, and they just say, okay, play to camera, go ahead. And, you know, and you're just like staring at the camera, and you're like, so, you know, this movie Crouching Tiger came out, you know what I mean? And the great thing about what helped me with my audition is as soon as I hit that first punchline, you heard the cameraman going, and I was like, oh yeah, baby, it's a party. Yeah, my guy Trent Mason, who's opening up for me tonight, I think he just auditioned for SNL.
I didn't know he was coming with you, and I saw him on your on the placard, and I just found about him on social media. I think like 3 weeks ago. Funny fucking with a piano, right?
Yeah.
Funny fucking dude.
Yeah.
Funny
One thing
guy.
I can do is I can find talent. I can find talent. I used to tell agents who would listen, I used to be like, Theo Von gonna be out of here. I said, Matt Rife gonna be out of here. And I think Trent is one of those.
Was the first? That's curious about Theo. When's the first time you saw him? Do you remember?
I saw him and I met him in L.A. We were super cool. You know what I mean? He's a super cool guy. You know, but what I liked about Theo was like everything about him says MAGA, but his life experience is not MAGA.
Yeah.
The haircut. I say MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. but when you sit there and you talk to Theo and then you hear his jokes and his point of view, man, I was growing up in you know, around all black people. I went to a black school. They'd be like, you the white man taking everything, and he was like, man, we pour together. He
was gonna split this plum.
Yeah, I took from you. Come on, man, we gonna split this plum or not? You know, like, you know. So yeah, other than him not believing COVID is real, everything else is, you know.
No, but that's really cool that Trenton Mason's coming with you. Like, he's how'd you find out about him?
I just saw him one day. And sometimes when I see somebody and they're really raw, I'm like, okay, the jokes can easily get funnier and better. The confidence and the talent, what I see, I just saw like this alternative Craig Robinson. If you know who Craig Robinson is.
No, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a great,
You know, and when I saw Craig Robinson back in the day with the Hokey Pokey man died.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't get him in the casket. They put his left foot in. That's the joke right there. Yeah. You know, so when I saw Craig Robinson and people back in the day, J.B. Smoove, Mike Epps, Craig Robinson, of course, Chappelle, a lot of those people were I like these guys.
Can you crank that volume thing button one way or another? Yeah, perfect.
So those were the guys that I looked up to. And a lot more, of course, but people I just used to see, because when I started out in Miami, they used to come and do the circuit in Miami. So it was a lot of people I used to see. You know, Tommy Davidson, hands down, used to be one of the funniest, unpredictable comedians to ever touch a microphone. There are people who get the type of laughter that you cannot. Some people who are doing comedy right now, when they say, I'm Mount Rushmore, I'm easily top 10, I'm like, the people who were your age right now, when they were doing stand-up, it's not a comparison when we're just talking about funny.
Right.
You know, that's why I sit back and I always stay humble. And I never comment on anybody, because I like a lot of new guys. I like CP. I just like stand-up comedy. I'm a fan of it. You know what I mean? So I like so many comedians, but then sometimes when I see somebody and I like, don't quit, son. Do not quit. Young lady, do not quit. Sometimes I see the woman comics that are just so funny, and I'm just like, holy shit. But the problem is there is no place to put all this talent. So you have to keep doing social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I love the Kev on Stages and the Tony Bakers and, the people who really get into it.
I think Cam was just talking about Tony Baker. I think. Yeah, that name sounds real familiar.
Yeah, one of the nicest comedians you'll ever meet, one of the most persistent, consistent, and talented guys you ever meet. His Damon Wayans Jr. is really funny.
God, I'd hope so with a name like that coming from that family.
Oh, my God.
God, I'd hope so.
And then a shout out to the homie JJ from the SIP. JJ Williamson is really funny. But I used to watch JJ when I was just in the crowd wanting to do comedy. And he would always do clean comedy, but it wasn't clean. But he never cursed, so you felt like it was clean comedy, and the writing was just brilliant. Yeah, people like to always give a shout out to. I like I said, I like everybody. I watch everybody. So you can't be around the SNL crew of stand up and funny people, and the BET Def Jam crew when I came up, and watch everybody. And just be like, yeah, these guys are the...
Right.
You don't even know these guys. These guys that were super dope stopped.
Right.
They went to cruise ships.
Right.
They like, I'm good, man. Because it's something about the beast of this business that corrupts you from the inside out. It just eats away at you.
Explain that a little bit.
The chase will kill you. It will kill every marriage. It will kill every relationship, with your kids. Because if you get so addicted to the chase, you're just so self-absorbed that you don't even see it. Because there's always the next thing. And even when you get that next thing and now you go on Instagram and see somebody else got that other next thing, then it's that next thing. But the relationship with your wife suffers. The relationship with your significant other suffers. The adulation that you get from people who don't even know you from something that you wrote 5 years ago that you still performing, but they like, and it's 3 beautiful women in the audience sitting wherever, but they walked by and was like, nice show, funny. Hey, do you have Instagram? Yeah, and it was like, And now you come home and you're listening to your lady say, you didn't take out the trash. Bitch, do you know I just had 3 tens? 3 tens! Tell me. You better get what?
Right. Yeah,
That's the reality of the show business part where you're like, hey, I got a movie coming out. I know people that got movies coming out and they're like, oh God, I don't want that movie to come out. You're like, okay. But people who want to be in movies can't relate to that. You know what I mean? And I do remember when you wanted to be in a movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
when you mentioned earlier that you are married, how have you found, because I mean work-life balance or balancing anything in life, let alone a chaotic life like doing stand-up, is near impossible. How do you give your marriage the time and the care and the maintenance that it needs while maintaining the professional lifestyle that you've chosen?
I listen to her. I'm so busy doing me that if I am going to listen to somebody, it's her. Because she wants the best for me too. So when
it's important.
Yeah. So when she says, hey, we're going to take our foot off the gas just for a little bit and we're going to deal with what's coming up, your daughter. Yeah, she's got a birthday. Oh, okay. So, all right. So she got her 7th birthday. She's 8. Okay, she's 8.
Oh, fuck.
We not that close.
Right.
Is she upstairs?
Is she upstairs? Yeah. I mean, this is not a Finesse Mitchell thing, people. It's show business. Or it's the dopest CEO or lawyer. It's male, female. It has nothing to do with. It's success. Success, once it gets in here, you will hear yourself saying, the jet is too small. Right.
You know what I mean? And there ain't nothing wrong with that because, sure, you want to be safe. But at the same time, it's just like, yo, this is our life now, bro. So black cars and private jets.
Do you find that your family is the best way that you keep yourself grounded?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the people who have nothing at home that's real and consistent and authentic and true and holds you accountable in a respectful way where you're like, I'm still the captain of this ship and this is my team. If you do not have that, you do not know the bliss of that. We hear a lot of people, especially comedians, because that's the source of our jokes. We about to complain about our marriage, our wife. We about to complain. Because a lot of people can communicate that. Because you want to know what? Saying I got a great marriage, that ain't funny. There ain't nothing funny about that. Oh, man. When you see her get out the shower, you're like, that's what I signed up for. That ain't funny.
Right. I see what you're saying.
But if you say, oh, man, she get out the shower and your dick is like, I remember her. You know what I mean? That's way more funnier if it's like, oh, stranger danger now, because I barely get to talk to her. She's coming. She's coming. She's coming over here. She's coming over here. It's easy to forget the people who love you the most, who's been supporting you the longest when you actually get there. Because they're not there for the time when you met Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle at one party.
Right.
You got to tell them about it. You know what I mean? So for me, man, for me, it's important. But the balance is hard for people to navigate and balance, and that's why so many people break up and split up.
Well, I think you made a good point that it's a healthy and respectful way that you be held accountable, because life will hold you accountable whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a lot better to be held accountable that way than life finding its own way to figure you out.
Don't put too many people on your payroll around you. That's why it's great to empower your friends, because your friends can keep you accountable to yourself and to what our original goals and dreams are. But if you just keep people around you that's on your payroll, ain't nobody gonna tell you that girl look a little young. She look a little young. Ain't nobody gonna tell you that you cursed out the Denny's waitress for no reason. Bro, she probably been on her feet for 12 hours.
They don't want to tell you no.
Yeah, they ain't saying nothing. They gonna jump it. They gonna join in with you. You know what I mean?
Because they're not your friend. They can be.
They can't. Yeah.
But depending on when they get on your team, depending on when they meet you, if they already meet you when you're touring, you're doing this, that, and the other, you're the meal ticket.
It's just
and you can't really blame them, because you're keeping their family fed. But at the same time, it's a bad incentive structure.
Yeah, it's success, and it happens to probably 8 out of 10 people. Where when people say you've changed, they mean that shit. Yeah, dude, you really changed. But you're supposed to change. But you're supposed to change in ways that it's just like, I still remember the core of who I am, who my brother is. You know how so many people say, yeah, me and my brother are estranged. Or, I haven't spoken to my sister. Me and my dad. Oh, because you haven't called? Because at some point it's pride, and at some point it's just like, I don't need them. Right. Yeah, you do. That's why you're angry all the time.
Right.
That's why you're snapping at strangers. Because when all that goes back to just you in that hotel room, you alone or you with some random.
Right. And which is worse.
Because now, as soon as now you're like... stranger danger. Get out of this room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. And I'm so glad to be past all that shit.
Yeah. And, it's a big reason why I'm one of the many, obviously, that I don't even have that real temptation, just because I've had my girlfriend since I started doing stand-up and doing all this. I'm just like, and she holds me accountable, I'll tell you what. But it's a healthy thing to have.
Plus, with that mustache, come on, bro. I ain't even got to say no more.
And one thing I did, before we wrap, one thing I did want to bring up too, because you mentioned it earlier about, finding younger talent and, letting them know, like, hey, don't quit. Hey, you're really good. Come on the road with me, do the show, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've been doing it for so long, but for everyone listening, I really can't overstate how important that is for younger talent to get affirmed by people that have been doing it for so long and are good at it. Obviously, if they're good at it. It sucks if the guy's been doing it for 15 years. That sucks. Goes, hey, you're really good. Oh, fuck, if you think I'm good. But, being affirmed like that, that was literally my first open mic, is I bombed my ass off, and the person that told me to do it was like, hey, you're actually really, you're good on stage. You're comfortable. You seem confident on stage. You have no idea how to write a joke, but you'll figure that out. You'll figure that out eventually. But we have a show in a month. Go do that show.
Right.
Write a fucking joke.
Right.
But, and that's, if I didn't get, because I remember getting off that first open mic 3 years ago and just being like, oh, I'm never doing this again. That was horrible. That was horrible. Why would I ever do this again? But no, you're good. Just write a joke. And then we'll figure. And then 3 years later, it's been great.
I was the opposite. I got on an open mic night in Miami. Damn near standing ovation. Everybody was so terrible that when I got up there and I did my 3 minutes, the crowd was just like,
"That's so
funny. Finally, something that resembles comedy." Right. And I had no clue what I was doing, but I was thinking about it all day, and I said, I'm going to perform the first time I discovered masturbation in the shower. and it was just something dudes could relate to, people could relate to. Right. And it got a standing ovation. And then the dude was like, come back next week. And bro, I thought I was a comedian. I wore a shirt and tie. I invited all my friends.
First day at the new job.
And I got up there and I bombed so bad. It was just crickets. It was just like nobody cared enough to say anything. So that first minute felt like 10. And when I got off stage, my friends was waving from afar. Thanks for the invite. You know, they was leaving.
As they're walking out.
As they're walking out. Thank you, Finesse. Yeah. And the host was like, why didn't you do the penis joke last week? And I was like, you can repeat yourself? He was like, come back next week and do the shit you did the first week. I was like, I didn't know. Nobody's told me.
Did you try getting your friends that came that time to come back the next week?
No. But what did happen was 7 years from that date, I was on Saturday Night Live.
That's sick.
I was on Saturday Night Live.
That's incredible.
4 years from that date, I was on BET's Comic View.
That's so crazy.
And so when I think about the time that I came through when there was no Instagram, there wasn't even MySpace. There's none of that stuff. I think YouTube might have been, because the Lonely Island Boys was coming through. Andy Samberg and those guys. Yeah. But I remember having a meeting at SNL and they was telling us Twitter was coming and they wanted us to help promote it.
Right. That's so funny. That's so funny.
If somebody is telling you, hey man, you should do this. Like, hey man, you should do that sucked, but you should do this. Yeah. You're gonna remember the part you should do this because you know it sucked. But Finesse Mitchell told me I should do this. Right. And one thing I can say about my reputation in the business, I've had more younger, successful comedians, and I mean younger than me, say, do you remember when you told me X, Y, Z? Do you remember when you took me on the road? Do you remember that when you came to my city, you told me this in the green room? And 80%, I don't remember none of that shit. But they do.
Right. That's what matters.
And they're still in the business because of that conversation, or that's one of the conversations that helped them forget 5 negative conversations that they had with other comedians saying that sucked.
Right.
And that's what I love about being me.
That's being a positive enabler. That's an important.
Quesadas, baby. You got an OG triple. You got a legend. You got a. The bottom line is stop playing. It ain't shit to do. Albuquerque, even if you in Santa Fe, half y'all ain't got a good car to get up to Santa Fe. So Albuquerque, stop playing. We here. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. We at Quesadas Comedy Club and Cantina at the Santa Ana Casino. I am so eager to see you. I learned Santa Ana. I shouldn't even know that full word. I should just say the casino. Y'all should know. But I actually learned it because y'all are playing with me. Y'all are playing with me. And for these 40 people that's going to get this dope show tonight, y'all going to wish that y'all were in the building. Y'all going to wish that y'all stopped playing with Finesse Mitchell. It's partly my fault. I got some things going on, but it's your fault too, because you're trying to act like this is Vegas, and it's not. You have nothing to do. Meet me at the comedy show this weekend.
Come out to the shows this weekend. It'll be a great time. Very funny man, and his features got on the road with him. Very funny too. I'm excited to see that. And thank you, man, for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Oh, by the way, wait a minute. These new hosts. You can find me at Instagram.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
No. Thanks. You're more of them.
This is the first time I've ever forgotten that. Fuck.
You can find me at Instagram, Finesse Mitchell. You can find me on TikTok, Finesse Mitchell 0, and Facebook, Finesse Mitchell. Now, my comedy special is called Slightly Offensive. It's on YouTube, on Finesse Mitchell Comedy, or go to 800 Pound Gorilla. And just run them numbers up for me. It's a very funny special. And I have a new special that is 15 minutes long, so it's special to me, coming out Labor Day weekend, called weirdo. All right. So that's pretty much it. Everything Finesse Mitchell. Got some new projects coming out, but just pay attention. You'll see.
For longtime listeners of the show, that's the first time I've ever fucked that up. So you've got it on record now. Big one, messed that one up.
I don't believe him.
But thank you, man. Thank you for doing this for real. So this
I
is
talked to Marlon Wayans. He said, "Don't forget to plug yourself because Noah don't give a damn about you once he get his interview." That's what Marlon told me, so I don't believe him.
but this is I was gonna tell you after we wrap, but this is good to have on camera. Like this is, I learned a lot, dude. This is a good conversation. This is a good conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening and watching. Come out tonight to the shows. 2 more shows tomorrow night on Saturday.
Yeah, come do some time on Saturday if you open.
I'll be here for sure. Thank you very much.
down. Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.